Yeah, really looking forward to talking to you guys about the BLI.
Thank you, students. For Optimize, we have Katie and Joanne.
Hi, my name is Johnny Maxey. I'm a senior studying business. I have a minor in real estate and CAS.
And hi, everyone. My name is Katie. I work for Optimize, and I'm here to give a little presentation, but you'll be hearing from Janae about what it's like to go through Optimize.
Thank you, Katie. And last but not least, Hannah.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I'm a senior here. I'm studying biology, health, and society with minors in biological anthropology and the environment. It's very wordy. And I'm also from Ann Arbor, and I'm an intern here at, well, not here, I'm an intern at the LSA Opportunity Hub.
Thank you. And for our live Q&A, we will have Claire to talk about a little bit more about the different questions that you may have, and I will let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Claire. I work with LSA Student Recruitment, so I can answer any of your general LSA questions as well. I'm a senior, originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I study public health with a minor in gender and health.
Thank you, Claire. So now that we introduce everybody, I will let Kathy from BLI to talk a little bit more about what is BLI and how the students can be involved in it once they come here.
Great, thanks, Francis. So as I mentioned, my name is Kathy, but more specifically within the BLI, I am a program assistant and I lead community outreach and engagement. So when I came to Michigan, I had mentioned that I am from Texas, so I was coming from out of state, and I really wanted a community in which I could engage in leadership learning. In high school, I was class vice president. I was really involved with the Human Rights Forum, and so I wanted to get involved in, a student-powered leadership learning community, and that's when I found the BLI. So here you can see this sort of pyramid in which you have the structure of the program. So when you become a member, you first take our ALA 175 Leadership Lab, which is super hands-on. In 6 weeks, I had implemented a project in which me and a couple of peers within LSA and other schools as well developed a project to provide resources for first-generation students. So after you take the class, you can then pivot essentially to any part of this pyramid. So some of our offerings, we have leadership lunches around different topics. So for instance, we usually have alumni come in and talk about how they've put what they've learned at the BLI into action after graduating. Another offering we have is the Dinner With series. So pre-COVID, we would take a bunch of students to an all expenses paid dinner with people like State Senator Stephanie Chang of Michigan, Dave Barger, who founded the Barger Leadership Institute and was the CEO of JetBlue. And then here in this Advanced Leadership Fellows little triangle, I now am a part of the Mindful Leader program. Usually, again, pre-COVID, we would take these students to Japan on an all expenses paid trip to learn more about mindfulness and leadership. And again, I work as a program assistant, getting to talk about how much I love the BLI. So now I'm going to pass it off to Magda, and she's going to speak a little bit more about the Leadership Lab.
All right, hi everyone. So like Kathy said, she's a program assistant, and that's one of the ways that you can get involved later on in the BLI. I personally am a PF. So basically what I do is I help out with the class itself. And so the class is ALA 175, and it's an experiential sort of class. So like Kathy also mentioned, it's not like your conventional class where you just are listening to lectures and not really getting to do anything. And I think that that's really something that drew me to the BLI when I was first applying. And so it's really just honestly an amazing experience. It's going to be fully remote for this semester, for example, but we'll see about what it's like in the fall and the upcoming winter semester. If you were interested in signing up for this class, if you do matriculate, of course, to U of M, then it's really easy to sign up. And we do have a couple of different days that you can take the class. So there's a Monday, a Tuesday, and a Wednesday section, and they're all in the evening. And we do that on purpose so that it doesn't conflict with any other courses. And also it is a 6-week class, so it's not for the entire duration of the semester, but only for a part of the term, which is really nice. You get to work on your own project with a team of people that might be in different years and different majors. And so it's a really nice way to also get that interdisciplinary sort of perspective as well. And so I think that it's just an amazing experience to sign up for. And really, it's really low stakes as well. So it's a pass fail 1 credit class. And you can add it to your schedule pretty much at any point. It doesn't have to necessarily be your first semester. It can be at any point in the fall or winter terms. And so ALA 175, for people that may not be familiar with like the nomenclature, is just applied liberal arts. And so that would be something that you can talk about with your counselor when you're signing up for classes and stuff like that.
Other things that we offer at the BLI include project funding. So if you have something that you want to implement on campus with some sort of leadership learning component to it, you could get up to $10,000 depending on what kind of grant you apply for, whether it's a small grant, project grant, or a capstone project. And from these pictures, you can see here, these students are from the University of Michigan Intelligent Ground Vehicle. It's an engineering design team who built a fully autonomous vehicle. We've had past students from the capstone program do ICEVACs, which is a sustainable, energy efficient refrigeration solution for communities with barriers to getting vaccines. And so these are some of the ways that you can implement projects and get funding from the BLI. And one thing that I would like to note that I think is really special, we had this open up within the last year, but we do have COVID hardship grants. And so we also really support our students in a personal regard as well. So if you want to get involved and stay in touch, here is the link to our website and also to our email. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for that great introduction. So if you want to check out their page, we drop some links in the chat. And if you want to apply, there's a link in the chat as well. Thank you. So next we have Katie and Jonay to talk about a little bit more about what Optimize is and why not me?
Yeah. So hello, everyone. As I mentioned, my name is Katie and I'm here with Jonay. So we're here to talk a little bit about Optimize and give you an intro to our community. So what is Optimize? Before I get too deep into that, I just want to share all of the wonderful faces of our team. We are a student-led organization. So everything that you hear us talk about today is led entirely by students. And so I'll be talking mostly about the Social Innovation Challenge, but if this seems like something you'd be interested in helping plan, that's also an incredible opportunity for students to be a part of really driving this community and organization within LSA. So what is Optimize? In the broadest terms possible, Optimize is a community of students and mentors and folks at the university who are passionate about creating a more just and sustainable future and who ask themselves, why not me? So you heard Francis mention this, and we believe that Students really have the power to make a difference and to make a change in the world. And so the first question that we ask students is, if you could change something, what would you change? I know that seems like a really big question, but we get so many incredible answers. This is from Diag Day, program that our community runs at the beginning of the fall semester and the winter semester, where we ask students if they could change something. And so all of these things just start out as ideas, and students can take these ideas and apply to our Social Innovation Challenge, which runs from October through February, to pitch their projects for funding. So what is the Social Innovation Challenge? Work on any project that you choose. We believe in, student-led projects. And so if it's something that you're really passionate about that you might have learned about in class, if it's something from a community that you're a part of that you really want to work on, if it's just something that you happen to see that you're just really passionate about, those are all ways that you can turn an idea into a project. You might be able to ask Janae in the Q&A what her project was specifically that she worked on. She's a peer mentor, which means she went through the Social Innovation Challenge, but she also is on our leadership team. So she's running this program right now. But some of the projects that we have funded through the Social Innovation Challenge are projects like Oshki, a company that started as an idea about waste in the Great Lakes and taking that plastic waste and turning it into t-shirts. And this is a full-fledged business now, just about cleaning up the Great Lakes. There's projects based on education and college access and mentorship, and pretty much anything that someone can care about is a project that we'll help fund. So through the Social Innovation Challenge, you'll learn how to make an impact on the issues that matter most to you. We say just and sustainable, and we keep that intentionally broad so that you're able to work on something that you are passionate about. We'll practice new skills at workshops, get help from experienced mentors, and be part of a supportive community. And at the end of it all, you can pitch for up to $10,000 in funding to work on your project over the summer. And so with that, this is some of our workshops that we host. We have workshops on visioning and storytelling, pitching, prototyping, budgeting, everything that you would need to turn that idea into a project. Obviously, they didn't look quite like this year, but we still have a lot of folks coming together and collaborating and learning from one another. We have guest speakers. So here we have Ari from Zingerman's. We have people come and talk about how to tell your story. We have folks come and tell you or teach you how to budget and all of the things, again, that you would need to turn your idea into a project. You get feedback and support. This is a collaborative community first. And so we want to make sure that all of the folks in our challenge are supporting one another and learning and growing. And you get mentorship from folks in the community. We have people from pretty much all over the state of Michigan and worldwide that are able to provide mentorship on things that are important to you. So if you're working on an education project, a tech project, a blockchain project, pretty much anything that you are working on, we likely have a mentor that can help support you. And at the end of it all, funding. So we love to give folks money. This is from our showcase, again, in person. But students are able to pitch for funding, and that funding goes towards them working over the summer full time. So it's essentially like creating your own internship, but getting to work on something that you're really passionate about. To learn more about Optimize, the ways that you can get involved, check out some of the projects that we've worked on, meet our leaders, all of those sorts of things. You can check out our website, optimizemi.org. There you'll also find our social media, both Instagram and Facebook pages, all of that good stuff. And yeah, with that, I think that is everything from us.
Janae, would you like to talk about your experience as a student in Optimize?
Yes, my first experience with Optimize started my freshman year. So I'm a fifth year senior. So my college journey started in 2016. It was at Diag Day. And I saw that big board. And I went over to Optimize to speak with them to learn more about the organization. And I knew I was going to do it eventually. However, I never had like an ideal to pursue until 2 years ago, or no, last year. And that's when I created my real estate company. It's called Maxi Real Estate Investments. And basically the mission is to revitalize inner city neighborhoods in Detroit, Michigan, which is where I'm from, through community without displacing community. So having this innovative ideal, wanting to become an entrepreneur, seeing this organization allowed me to pursue it because of the funding and also get the tools needed for me to figure out how to be an entrepreneur. And of course, when they asked to come back as a peer mentor, I said yes, because without Optimize, I do not know how all of it would have happened, through the storytelling, through them teaching me how to do a pitch for funding, through the mentorship, and really the support, because as entrepreneurs, the most important aspect is finding a community to where you can pursue your creative ideals. And Optimize really provided that for me.
Thank you, Janae. And Hannah, would you like to talk about the Opportunity Hub? Thank you.
Yeah, give me 1 second to share my screen. Okay, is this in presenter view or does it look right? Okay, cool. All right, so hi, I'm Hannah. As I said, I'm an intern at the LSA Opportunity Hub. So what is the hub and what's our purpose? So our goal is to assist students in connecting their liberal arts education, which you would get through LSA, with their future educational and professional goals. And so you might be thinking, what about the Career Center? Like, there's already something here for that. But we're different from just a regular Career Center because we are specifically focused on the needs of LSA students, because we recognize that LSA students and liberal arts students have vastly different needs than, say, an engineering student or a nursing student. So we create opportunities for students to co-create their educational, not educational, their career and professional trajectories with the coach and with the LSA Hub staff. And all of our staff are specifically trained and very passionate about working with liberal arts students like yourselves. And so the hub has 4 main focus areas, which I'm going to explain right now. So the first of which is coaching and preparation, which is how I think most people learn about the hub, is through coaching and through our workshops. So we have individual coaching, we have drop-ins, and we also have longer appointments. And then we have larger events like workshops and large events such as we had the internship forum a couple weeks ago, and we'll have the grad school fair a little bit later in March. So we have opportunities like that. So that's where you'll meet our coaches, and you can come to coaching at any point in your career search if you have no idea what you're doing, or if you have every idea what you're doing and you just want some confirmation. The coaches will meet you exactly where you're at. And we also offer ALA courses. And again, those are for anybody at any stage of your development in your career. So ALA 125 is setting you up for an internship, and ALA 325 is, I think, applying your education to your career. So it really runs the gambit of the needs of students. And then we have LSA student internships and experiences. And this is where I intern. I'm an internship program intern. And so the internship program is LSA Hub staff work with employers to curate special internship opportunities specifically for LSA students. So that's really important because, like I said, the liberal arts education is very different, and you learn a lot more of an interdisciplinary study. So those internships are curated specifically for those students. So those can be nationwide, and then this year there's a lot of virtual internship opportunities as well. So we are adapting. So, and then next, to go along with internships, is funding, because funding can be a huge barrier for students when going to access internships. And we recognize that. So we offer the LSA Internship Scholarship, which is up to $5,000 to help cover internship costs, whether that's a paid internship or an unpaid internship. We'll give you $5,000, and you can use that towards your travel costs, towards fees, towards whatever is entailed in your internship. So there's some smaller details that aren't necessarily as important right now. And then we also have employer and alumni connections. And so I don't know if you guys have heard this, but it was beaten into me as like an incoming student, but Michigan has the largest living alumni network, I think, in the world. So at the Hub, we really take advantage of that, and we work with LSA alums to put on events such as Alumni Connections, which is really great. So there's alumni from so many fields, medicine, you'll get alumni in consulting, really whatever you're interested in, there's alumni who've done that. And we invite them in. And we also have employer connections, again, from every field out there that you could be interested in going into. And then we also have LSA Connect, which just launched, I believe, early this semester. And it's a networking platform where you can connect with alumni from your field and talk to them, you know, set up a meeting, get an informational interview. And I've used it and I like it a lot more than like LinkedIn, because to me, LinkedIn is a little scary and I don't know, feels kind of cold and sterile. So I really like LSA Connect because it feels like, you know, we both went to LSA and, you know, they want to help you. I don't know. I really like it and very happy with LSA Connect. And let's see. So students are at the center of all that we do. And so then that really goes into our student teams. So our student advisory team is a group of volunteers that put their input into all of our programming, and they're super, super important. We love SAT. We love our SAT ambassadors because they give really great feedback that shape all of our events, that shape our, you know, alumni connections, employer connections, that sort of thing. And then we also have the student intern team, which I'm a part of. And we help with day-to-day stuff. And then we also help with larger projects at the Hub as well. So those positions are open to LSA students. And let's see what else here. So just to recap, those are all the things that I talked about. And if you want more information, you can email the Hub at this email here, or check out our website, lsa.umich.edu/opportunityhub. So thank you.
Thank you, panelists, for all that great information. Students, please be sure to check the chat with all the links so you can log in later and check it out. Okay, so now we're going to the Q&A, and I will let Claire ask the questions.
All right, great. Thanks for all that information, everyone. That was super informative. So students that are attending, again, feel free to use the Q&A. Some of the people on the panels can either type their answers or we can answer them live as well. But just to start with a more sort of logistics question about each of your programs, if you could all just touch on what the time commitment is for each program.
Okay, I'll go. For Optimize, it varies. So if you want to pursue the challenge, which is pitching to get funding for your business, there are, sorry, my mom is walking into the door, so you're gonna hear some background noise. There are workshops you will have to attend. And these workshops, as I mentioned, are developmental workshops. And that's once a month. You will also, with the virtual aspect, pod meetings, which is the peer mentors meeting with the cohort of students to just like talk about the different workshops. But the time commitment, it's not a lot of time. Maybe 5 hours per month, but it's also how you want to engage with the optimized community. If you do not want to do the pitch, you can also volunteer with Optimize in various different ways. You all can check out the website to find out more ways in which you can get involved with the Optimize community. I know that a lot of my friends who do not have business ideals actually volunteer with Optimize. So it's different ways you can get involved with Optimize.
And then for the BLI, there aren't any hard requirements to be admitted. We accept students from all schools, majors, and disciplines. So you would just sign up to become a member, and there's, I don't want to say that there's not a cap on enrollment either, but you'll have to follow up on me with that. But Yeah, and in terms of time commitment, it is ultimately up to you. The Leadership Lab is a really low stress, low time commitment course in which it's only for 6 weeks. You meet once a week for 2 hours a week for the course. But otherwise, after you've taken the class, you can sort of pick and choose what you want to go to in terms of the leadership lunches, whether you want to take on a larger role as a student staff member or take part in any of our other programs.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. So another more logistics question. Hannah, did you have something to add? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to talk a little bit about the hub because I don't know if I made it super clear about like who can come, who can do whatever. It's a resource on campus that's available to everybody. You don't have to apply. All LSA students can come. And if you have friends who aren't in LSA, they can come to large events as well. So we're pretty inclusive, and so there's no like time commitment per se because you're not applying to anything, you're just dropping in. But if you are interested in any of the like SAT ambassador, I believe that's a couple hours a week. It's not super time intensive. And then for like an internship position, that's like 10 or so hours a week because that's like a job. So you do have to apply to those. So.
Cool. Thanks for clarifying that. All right. So another question is about cost. So is there a fee for students to participate in any of these programs? I see a lot of shaking heads, so I'm just going to guess that's a no overall for everyone. Cool. Thank you. All right. So another question, this is kind of bigger, so feel free to take your time or whoever wants to go first. How has this experience, so depending on whatever program you're in, how has it helped you as a student in U of M and your future goals with your career?
Yeah, so I can go first. So the BLI has just been like an amazing experience. So like we touched on a little bit earlier, you start off with taking the class, and then if you want to apply for like being a PA or a PF, you do that afterwards, and take on a little bit of like a larger role. For me personally, something that I always wanted to work on was the entrepreneurship sort of sphere. But as like a pre-med student, that's not really something that's like built into my classes at all. So I thought that joining the BLI and taking the class and stuff like that was a really good opportunity to learn how to basically start anything. And I think all of those skills are really like transferable. First of all, for like if you're applying for an internship or stuff like that, I found it really helpful when I was interviewing and stuff like that for my internship for the American Medical Women Association. And I think that those skills are honestly just transferable for any field that you're into, basically. And that's why I think BLI is such an amazing place and opportunity to have, because you're engaging with people that are in different majors, at different stages of their academic careers, people that have very little experience with starting something on their own, or people that have a lot of experience and maybe are looking just for some funding or some additional guidance on how to scale. And so I think that it's just a great opportunity for anyone that wants to develop as a leader, and wants to interact with people at U of M, with people from different majors and age groups and demographics and everything like that.
Adding on to what Magda has to say, I agree with all of that. And in a more social aspect, I think I've made a lot of really great friends at the BLI, people that I can depend on and lean on for support. And so, I think really coming to Michigan, it's about making the university small. And I think that the BLI is like one really great way to do that. And just to plug the Opportunity Hub as a resource, I've used it before for looking for internships and getting advice and whatnot. So they're also really awesome on campus.
Yeah, I can piggyback off that. That was a really great transition. Thanks for setting me up, Kathy. But yeah, so I guess as a student, I'm not going to talk about like internship like my internship just yet. So as a student, utilizing the LSA Opportunity Hub, kind of like Kathy said, it is great to like go to coaching and have just another set of eyes on your resume. Like the coaches will say things that you never even thought of to like fix on your resume or maybe tweak. They'll help you, even just narrow down interest. If you go into coaching and you're like, I have no idea even what I'm interested in, but I know I want an internship this summer, they'll help you out. And it's so great. So it's really great for just, getting a clearer picture, because you're not in this alone. You're not, going through your career by yourself. We're here to help you. And then also workshops and stuff are super great, especially when they were in person. So hopefully at some point, if you guys come to LSA, they'll be back in person, because you're around all these students and we're all kind of in the same place. We're all thinking the same thing. Like, what am I looking for in my career? And, it's great to kind of be around like-minded people. And then as an intern at the LSA Opportunity Hub, it has been great for my professional development. I worked food service for a couple of years before coming to the LSA Opportunity Hub. And so it was just really great to be able to learn how to apply the skills I learned in food service to a real professional office environment. So that was awesome.
Yeah, Optimize helped me drastically as a student because one, it gave me a community of students who thought like me as entrepreneurials. And like in the business school, it's not really a lot of students who want to do the untraditional route. So having a community where there's a lot of different students who want to become entrepreneurs and actually have business ideals and have the passion and the commitment to pursue their journeys really helped me continue my journey as an entrepreneur. I do not know if I would have continued with it if I didn't have the community of Optimize. So this was a very important aspect for me. In terms of my development professionally, when it came to the workshops, figuring out how to storytell, doing a timeline for a pitch, figuring out my passion of my why for developing a project, why not me? And just answering all of these different questions really helped me develop as a young professional. Career-wise, it helped me because without this company, Maxi Real Estate Investments, I probably would not have had my internship last summer, which was at a development company, real estate development company. And then as a peer mentor, I'm gaining skills that I'm out of breath because I had to run up the stairs. Sorry, y'all. But as a peer mentor, I had to, I'm gaining skills to mentor young entrepreneurs. So trying to figure out how to navigate that and which will help me with my long-term goal of going into strategy and human capital change within corporate America. So like a lot of aspects may seem as though they're not transferable, but in a lot of areas, a lot of things are transferable. So Optimize really helped out with a lot for me.
Cool. Thanks for sharing your experiences, everyone. A quick question for BLI and then also sort of for Optimize. So with BLI, are there requirements to be admitted and is there a cap on enrollment? And then for both BLI and Optimize, is there a deadline to apply?
For Optimize, there is not a deadline to apply. However, if you want to do the challenge, you should apply early in the beginning of the semester, fall semester, so you can attend the workshops and develop your business plan, business pitch, so you can go through the process. However, if you want to volunteer with Optimize, there's no deadline. And also to do the challenge, it's not a hard deadline. It's just advised to apply early.
And then for BLI, so there is the course component. So it's kind of in a sense like rolling up until like you have to, register for the actual class. Registration dates and stuff like that kind of depend on like your credits and like class standing. So I would double check with your counselor when you're registering and kind of see when that is for you. In terms of any like hard deadlines, there's a lot of opportunities, honestly, to sign up and get involved because like Kathy and I touched on earlier, it's basically offered in the fall and in the winter, and it's 6 weeks. And so obviously there's quite a few different times you could apply and sign up for it. And then I think also we're not 100% sure on whether or not there's an enrollment cap. I do know that we have quite a few sections, like I mentioned earlier. So we have those 3 sections. And we do have a fair amount of peer facilitators. So honestly speaking, we haven't in my time at the BLI had to turn anybody away that really, really wanted to take the class. So I hope that answers that question for you.
Cool. Thank you both. Okay, this question is sort of directed towards Hannah with the Opportunity Hub. So when applying for internship, in college, will high school extracurricular activities have to be listed on our resume?
I think I'm not a career coach, so this is kind of like my personal opinion, but also kind of educated because I work at the hub. I think that depends on how far out from high school you are. You know, if you're applying to an internship maybe after your freshman year or maybe even after your sophomore year of college, and you think that those extracurriculars are important to, you know, maybe your personal statement or something, or really they were really influential, by all means put them down, but you'll realize really quickly that space is limited on your resume. You want to make it so that when the employer looks at it, it's a quick glance, and you know they're not going to read through 3 pages of a resume. They want to look at one side. So I think that it comes down to how important is that extracurricular. Like personally, if I were applying right out of freshman year, I think if I did like a magnet program at my school and I wanted to put that down, I would put that down. But if I was part of like the art club and I was applying to a STEM position, I might not put that down, if that makes sense. Just weigh like what's important to the position and how, you know, how relevant it is to you, like your cover letter and your statement and that sort of thing. So. I think Claire's frozen. But yeah, if you have any other questions about resume, feel free to ask them and I may or may not be able to answer. But if you still have questions and you come to LSA, feel free to come to the LSA Opportunity Hub.
Cool. Thanks, Hannah. My Wi-Fi is a little spotty. Can you all hear me? Okay, great. So another question for everyone is, can students participate in these programs in any year? So just what year in college you are and what year did you all get involved in them?
With Optimize, any year is acceptable. I started last year, so it was my second year being a junior. So yeah.
Similarly, for the BLI, you can become a member at any point of your time at Michigan. You can take the class both fall and winter semester, so we're really flexible. But I was involved second semester of my first year at Michigan.
For the Opportunity Hub, you can come at any time. You can come your first day, or you can wait until the last week of senior year to come, and we will welcome you with open arms. With the ALA courses, though, it depends on like where you're at in your like career search. Like just depending on how relevant they're going to be to you, we're not going to stop you from taking them. But if you are a freshman and you're applying your education to your career, it might not be as helpful, but you can still take it. So.
Definitely. Thanks. Okay, so another more COVID time specific question is, how has participating during these programs been, specifically thinking about, you know, doing them virtually, and have you been able to maintain connection through that?
So I think that's a really good question. So for BLI specifically, like Kathy mentioned, like it's a really great community, honestly, and we've been doing a pretty good job at like maintaining that within obviously the teaching staff and all of that other stuff, but also for the students themselves. So last semester we had it as an asynchronous sort of setup, and then we had them come to office hours and stuff like that to supplement. And the first class and the last class were synchronous. This semester, all of the sessions are going to be synchronous based on the feedback that we received from students, and how helpful it is to, you know, actually work on the projects with their groups and stuff like that during class time. And so with it being online, obviously it's pretty much all on Zoom right now. So there's pros and cons, especially when you're trying to work with a group in a digital sort of space versus having them in person. But I think that we've been able to navigate that and, help people and support them if necessary. So.
For Optimize, because Optimize has a strong sense of community, and then the type of individuals who are in Optimize kind of keeps the excitement with the virtual world, and that's completely different than being in person. We still have the workshops, and we implemented pod meetings, which is basically a time for the peer mentors to reflect with the students about the workshops, to allow them to ask any questions and to provide a platform for the students to bounce ideas off of each other, and to also gain networks within business, within entrepreneurship. Is imperative to leverage one another. So trying to provide a platform for students to do that. We also have many office hours each week with the peer mentors. So students can sign up whenever they are free to ask peer mentors questions when it comes to pitching. If you just want to talk, I'm like meeting with the optimized student to help her apply to Ross, the business school, and that's like nothing to do with optimize, but it's just that community of helping one another. So yeah.
Yeah, and the Opportunity Hub, we're all virtual this semester, just like everything else is. Yeah, so we have our virtual drop-ins, which are twice a week, and it's actually really cool, like how a drop-in thing can still happen virtually. And then we also have virtual coaching sessions, which just happen over Zoom, like you would have a Zoom meeting with anybody else. We also have our larger events like our internship forum and our grad school fair. Those are over Zoom, which has been interesting. It's just a little bit finicky to try to have something like a career fair online, but we've been working that out. And yeah, so I think it's definitely different, but I think that it works still.
Great, thanks everyone. So in thinking about all of your programs, do any of you offer the opportunity to study abroad?
Okay, not specifically, but we do help you find opportunities abroad if that's like what you're looking for. So yeah, if you come in and you say, I'm looking for very specifically a health internship in X country, we'll help you find it. Or if you're just like, I want to go abroad, we'll help you find that. And we'll also help you find funding to go abroad as well, if that's what you're looking for.
As for the BLI, it's not necessarily like a traditional study abroad experience per se, but we do take students on access opportunity trips. I had mentioned that we normally have a trip to Japan that's immersive on mindful leadership. And then in years past, we've gone to London before.
Optimize do not have any study abroad opportunities.
Cool, thanks everyone. This question is specifically for Hannah. So do LSA students typically have one or more internships, or what does that look like?
I think it's different for every student, and it's really hard to generalize like, oh, you should have X amount of internships by the time you graduate, because, we're all on different paths. But I wouldn't say it's out of the ordinary to have more than one, but it's also not out of the ordinary to have none. Obviously, we want to help you get one if you want one, but I would say that everybody's different, and especially in LSA, like there's a range of students and a range of needs and interests. So it's hard to say. Sorry, that's kind of a broad answer. But.
No, definitely, that makes sense. Thanks. Okay, so another question we have is, if you're not an LSA student, I know we've been talking about LSAs pretty specifically, but let's say you're not an LSA student, can you join any of these programs or take advantage of the Opportunity Hub?
The Opportunity Hub is specifically for LSA students. we'll help if a stamp student comes to us, we'll hook them up with the Stamps Career Center because every college has their own. And then with larger events, I believe we do allow students from other colleges to come.
And then for BLI and Optimize, are you both LSA specific as well?
As I mentioned, we're not just LSA specific. You can be from any school, any major, and still take part in our programs.
Yeah, Optimize is the same. Also, well, these are freshmen, but for grad students, for any school within the University of Michigan, everyone is welcome.
Great, thanks for clarifying. Another kind of broader question. So what's a cool feature about your program that stands out for you, and why maybe did it make you want to join the program?
For me, it might sound small, and I spoke on this a little earlier. It was the community. It's an vibe. Optimized individuals have this vibe about themselves that makes you excited about life. And like going to U of M, going through classes, you kind of need that, especially as a young entrepreneur, trying to figure out how to navigate all of the confusion, because I can tell you I was lost for a long time. Still kind of lost, but I have a sense of what I'm doing now. But just the community, the supportive atmosphere, the ability to be wrong, the ability to grow together, and the ability to constantly make an impact within the optimized community, within outside communities, and to speak with individuals who want to also make an impact. That was the driving force for me.
I think for me with the LSA Opportunity Hub, I was really interested in their like alumni connections aspect because like I said, largest living alumni network. So that's pretty cool to like have that kind of at your disposal. Yeah, because you know, a lot of times you'll hear it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So the Opportunity Hub really takes that to heart and tries to give you opportunities to to talk with alumni who are in your field, ask them questions. So that's great, just to ask, like, you've been through this, you know what a liberal arts education is like. How are you using it now? How can I use it in the future? So alumni are cool.
So for the BLI, there's honestly just like a couple of different things that like stood out to me personally. So I think what's really nice is that there's a lot of different funding opportunities through the BLI for, you know, furthering any sort of project that you have. And the applications and stuff like that are on the links that we already put in the chat. It's just on our website. So there's like the COVID grant if you're, you know, struggling right now and stuff like that. There's also grants for small projects, which are, I think, $500 around there. And then there's also the capstone program if you wanted to get something that's a little bit more like structured and long term. And I really recommend, you know, just exploring those different options and seeing like what appeals to you. And if there's like a problem that you want to solve that poses sort of like a financial barrier, I think that the BLI is a really good place to apply for like those kinds of grants and stuff like that so that it's not like a hindrance because of money.
And just something sort of silly to look forward to post-COVID times. I know that the BLI, Optimize, and the Hub often give out a lot of really good and free food. So be on the lookout for that when you come to campus.
That is definitely true. The LSA building always has something good in it, free food wise. Cool, great. Thanks for sharing your perspectives, everyone. We have one sort of final question. It's a bit of a logistics question, but it'll close us out, and it's for Hannah. So can students only apply for the LSA internship scholarship once they have an internship secured, or can you apply for that beforehand?
I believe that you do have to have an internship secured and entered into our network, and then have that internship approved by internship program staff. So yes, I believe so. There's definitely a staff member who knows a lot better than I do, but short answer, I believe so.
For sure. Thanks. All right. I think that pretty much wraps us up questions wise, unless if anyone wants, maybe missed a piece of information or anything final that they want to share. No? Cool.
So thank you everybody for joining us today. We hope that this webinar was for your benefit and answer most of your questions and provide you a little bit more information about what each of this program means and what are the resources available once you come here as a student in the College of LSA. So thank you all for joining, and